Hello, and welcome back to HLF. I will be doing my Champions League predictions in Game Week 2. We'll start this, and we'll also do Premier League predictions. I might do Europa League predictions. That might come out tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. So yeah, let's get straight into it. First we have RB Salzburg versus Brest. Now, I've not done loads of research on how the teams are doing, but Salzburg lost the first game in the Champions League, Brest won, but I do know roughly how good these teams are, and I'm going to say 2-1 to Salzburg. That one was fast, but here we go. Stuttgart against Sparta Prague. Stuttgart did lose the first game. Sparta Prague actually won. But this again, I do think Stuttgart are really good and firing, especially when they're at home as well. They played Real Madrid and lost 3-1, which is understandable in the first game of the Champions League. I think they'll win 3-0. Arsenal against PSG, possibly the game of the week. PSG have lost, obviously, the likes of Mbappe, Neymar and all that they had not that long ago, but they've still got that talent there, like Barcola for example. They even got Dembele on the right, Colomwani. They've still got that talent there, and Arsenal just haven't got great record recently in the Champions League. But I think with Arsenal at the Emirates, they'll be up for it, and I think they'll win 2-1. Next is Barcelona against Young Boys. Young Boys lost to Aston Villa 3-0 in the first game. Barcelona actually lost their game because of a red card. And I think they are doing well in La Liga. Actually 4 points clear of Real Madrid. They always have a good start to the season. And I think they'll comfortably win this game 2-0. Next is Bayer Leverkusen against AC Milan. Leverkusen still, again, this season they're doing really well. Really great start. AC Milan, they just beat Inter, who were technically at home. So they're doing good as well. They lost the first game against Liverpool. Leverkusen won their first game 4-0 against Feyenoord. I think with Leverkusen being at home, this is a tough one. Very tough one. I'm either going to say 1-1 or 2-1 to Leverkusen. And I'm going to say with the goals, and I'm going to say 2-1 to Bayer Leverkusen. Next is Borussia Dortmund versus Celtic. Celtic won the first game against Slovan Bratislava 3-0. I think it was 3-0. Borussia Dortmund, they won the first game as well. Bino Gittin starring. With that talent that Dortmund have, they should easily beat Celtic here. I'm going to say 3-1. Can Celtic score? Celtic are obviously the team in the Scottish Premiership. Nobody can beat them. But when that comes to the Champions League, they're just not good enough. Next is Inter Milan against Red Star. With this one, Inter just drew with Man City. I think they should comfortably win this game. Inter don't usually score loads of goals, so I'm going to say 2-0. Next is PSV against Sporting. This is one of the tougher games to predict. PSV obviously recently been doing really well in the Dutch league, and Sporting been doing really well in Portugal. I think this is a tough one to call. Sporting won the first game. PSV actually lost. I'm going to say 1-1. Slovan Bratislava against Man City. Now, this is 0.1% chance, 99.9% faith for Slovan Bratislava. Man City without Rodri, that'll affect them through the season, and that's why I do not think they'll win the Champions League. And Arsenal have a big chance to pounce on them in the Premier League. They just drew with Newcastle 1-1. And I think they'll want to come back and prove themselves. Slovan Bratislava lost 3-0 to Celtic. So Man City will run over them. I don't think it'll be that high scoring for their standards, but I think they'll win 4-0. Next is Girona against Feyenoord. Girona are in bad form in La Liga. Feyenoord are in bad form as well, 5th in the Eredivisie, and that's just not great for the fans in the club. But this is a tough one to call as well, really. But with both teams doing bad, they both lost the first game. Feyenoord obviously lost 4-0 to Leverkusen. I think this will be another 1-1 draw. Next, Shakhtar versus Atalanta. Shakhtar, I think, it's technically not at home because of the UEFA rules and all that they can't play in Ukraine because of the war. But they play in Ukraine in the league, so I don't really know. Obviously, UEFA rules and all that. So, and I think Atalanta will win 2-0. Ademola Lookman will probably get the goals. Next is Aston Villa against Bayern Munich. Probably the game of the week. Aston Villa beat Young Boys 3-0, played brilliantly. Bayern Munich won 9-2 against Dynamo Zagreb. So, that was... I don't explain how that was, but I think with Bayern Munich, they're scoring so many goals now. They're doing so well. Great start to the season. Aston Villa have had a really good season as well, sitting 5th in the Premier League currently. I think Villa will get a goal, but I just think Bayern Munich's attack is too much for them because Villa always concede. I say too much, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Bayern Munich. Next is Benfica against Atletico Madrid. And this is sort of a derby, really, isn't it? Because Spain and Portugal usually they're a bit fiery and a bit of a derby because they're bordering countries and the language and all that is all similar. So I think that is an underrated derby. Any Spanish team that plays a Portuguese team. Benfica won the first game. Atletico Madrid obviously came from behind to win 2-1 against Leipzig. Atletico Madrid just drew to Real Madrid in La Liga the other night, and I think Simeone is the type of manager that doesn't really get that affected by playing games midweek, especially against the best team in the world. So I think Benfica 1, Atletico Madrid 2. Dynamo Zagreb against AS Monaco. Dynamo Zagreb are in horrible form. They lost to Hajduk Split recently in the league. AS Monaco are on fire, to say the least. Dynamo Zagreb lost to Bayern Munich 9-2. I think they'll score 1 and Monaco will score 3. 3-1 to Monaco. Lille against Real Madrid. Lille are in bad form in Ligue 1. And Real Madrid are averaging about 4.7 goals a game, I think it is. Something really high like that. Maybe in the chat, I don't know. Forget that stat. Might not be right, but I heard that. Real Madrid, I think they do what they always do in the Champions League. They're without Bellingham, but I think they'll win 3-1. Liverpool against Bologna. Bologna had a good season last season, producing stars like Calafiori and Joshua Zirkzee. I think, well, they did draw their first game. Liverpool obviously beat AC Milan 3-1, coming from behind. I think Liverpool will win comfortably, 3-0. RB Leipzig against Juventus. Now, so many of the last games have ended in 0-0. It's unbelievable. And this is just the type of game where I think it probably will end 0-0 again. Leipzig were ahead against Atletico Madrid, but they ended up losing 2-1. And Juventus, they did win. I think this is going to be 0-0 like the tradition. And lastly, Stonegrass against Club Brugge. This is probably the hardest one to call out of all of them. Both teams are just ultimately not good enough for the Champions League. I think it'll be 1-1. Both defenses aren't great, so it's going to be 1-1. And these are my predictions here for the Champions League. Game week 2. Match week 2 over. So, here they are. I will maybe do Europa League predictions. Maybe they'll be out on Wednesday if I do them. And I'll also do Premier League ones for this upcoming weekend. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to HLF2. Do what you need to do really if you like this video, if it helped. And I'll see you later.